Hello, learners and gamers. Welcome to another session of Ofmos. Today we're going to be playing Ofmos Classic. It's the simplest simulation from the Ofmos family. And I'm going to be using basically an on-screen version of the game. It's very manual. I'm using Apple Keynote to lead, and I'm going to be playing against myself, and we'll be moving the pieces manually, but just for you to see how it's being played and to kind of understand all the rules just by watching me. So each player starts with 9 pieces. The pieces basically represent business spaces that can be created. They are created when they are placed on a board, and then when these businesses are being operated, the pieces are being moved. And of course, when the CEO exits or is being kicked out of business, the pieces are being taken off the board. Each player starts with a budget of 100. Think of it as 100 million. And the goal is to make the most money by the time one of the CEOs exits, basically closes down his or her entire company. So let's get started. I'm going to start with red. You can figure out different ways of choosing who goes first. The first stage of the game is starting a business, if you'd like, or launching a business in each of the 9 environments. On the board, you see on a horizontal, we have a triangle, square, and pentagon. That represents the complexity of the product, or if you'd like, the processes that go into creating an additional unit of whatever it is you're selling. So the triangles are much easier to create, and the pentagons are much more complicated. On a vertical on the board, you have the perceived value. So at the top, the 3 notches are the products that command premium from the market. And at the bottom, those are the highly commoditized products that are least differentiated, and as a result, their profit margins are very low. The numbers that you see in each environment will be used to calculate the whatever cash you're going to be making or paying when you're operating in that particular environment. So let's get started with red. So I'm going to be launching, let's say, right here. This means that I will pay 9. So basically, my budget goes to 91. Now blue launches, and you can launch in the same environment or a different one. This is 6, a payment of 6, which brings down the entire budget to 94. Now red, let's see, we're gonna go, let's say here, this is 86. So I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit, because as you're going to, once you get to understand, you'll see it's pretty easy. This goes to 85. Again, red. Let's see, I'm going to put this here. This is a payment of 3. This is 83. Let's go, let's say here. And usually, so this is 77, you try, obviously at this stage, you try to position your pieces in such a way that you're going to benefit in the second stage, where you have to start operating these businesses. Red again, so let's say we do it here, and this is going to be 77. We have blue, 72. So, okay, red. I'm going to try this. This is going to be 69. So every launch basically requires the payment of the amount indicated in the corners of the environment in which you are launching that business. Okay, this is payment of 3, so it brings me down to 69 here for the blue. Let's see about this. This is 67. This is 7. This is 62 here. This is 1, so it's 66. This is 60. Okay, this is 4, so it's 62. And now blue has to launch. So let's say I'm going to put it all the way to the bottom because I can exit. You'll see. And by the way, you can see the rules, or not the rules, but how you're making money. It's all the formulas are on the screen. E indicates the number from the environment, and A in some of the formulas, that means the money that you're making from the action taken. Okay, so this is 4 here, so it's 56, brings me down to 56. Okay, last product to be launched by the red, so it's 7, this brings me down to 55. And this one, the blue, goes here, and this goes down to 55 as well. So this concludes basically the first stage of the game, Ofmos Classic. Now we're going to start operating, and as you can see, you can move in any direction, just one cell at a time. And the goal is to end the game. The game ends when one of the teams has all the pieces taken off the board. But the winner is going to be the one with the most money on the table. So the first move that I'm going to be making, it's red, since we started in the second stage. I'm moving down, which means operating the business. So the more you're selling, basically the business commoditizes, the perceived value drops. But I'm making, as the formula indicates, I'm making a profit of 2, because basically, like I said, it was just pure selling, and the more you sell, the more commoditized your product becomes. So in this case, I'm making 2, so my funds or budget, if you like, my bank account goes back to 57. Now, one thing, you also observe that I created an alignment, at least 3 pieces in alignment. And this is the equivalent of synergy. Synergy, it's a big word, but it means sharing either processes or components between products. And as a result, you create more money than if you would have 2 or 3 separated products. The way we calculate this, so we already had 2 from the action taken, just operating the piece over there from the environment 2-notch triangle. We moved it down. So now basically we're going to get a bonus for each of the piece in this alignment, because it's a new alignment. We're going to get wherever the number that is associated with the position of each of these pieces. So we got the 2 from the action, and now we get 1 plus 1 plus 4. So we get a 6 added to the 57. So this brings us to 63. Okay, now blue has to move. We're going to move down and basically take out, so if you look at a pentagon, 3 notches environment, I'm taking out the red by operating my business and basically squeezing the competitor out of that market. So we are making a 9 as a profit from the operation, and we killed that business of the competitor. So this brings us to 64. Now, red has to move, and I'm going to try, if you look at the environment defined by the square and 3 notches, the red will take out the blue because I'm trying to prevent a future alignment. So basically, I'm operating the business, I'm making 6, and I killed the competitor's business. So this brings me to 69. Now, the blue has to move. So same thing I'm going to do here. If you look at triangle 2 notches environment, I'm moving down, I'm taking out the red, and I'm making a 2. So this brings my funds to 66. Now, red has to move, and what I'm going to do, let's say I'm doing a lateral move. Lateral moves basically represent innovation. As you can see, the product has moved on a horizontal, which means its complexity has increased. So to put in place or to execute such innovations require costs. So those costs or investments or expenses, those expenses will cancel out the profit that you would be making from operating those businesses. So that's why horizontal moves are always 0. So I moved it here because I'm trying to threaten the blue. As you can see in the formulas on the screen, blue cannot, or any piece, you cannot kill a product by moving upwards. So this is 0. Now blue has to move. So what I'm going to do as blue, I'm trying to run away so I'm not being kind of taken over or killed. So just simply operating the business, and I'm making 7. So this will bring me to my funds to 73 million, if you'd like. Okay, so now we have red who has to move. So we're moving, we're kind of chasing down this guy a little bit. This makes us 8 because it's the amount of money associated with the originating cell. So 8 plus 69, this brings us to 77. Blue, I'm going to try to do a horizontal move. So this is 0. What we're doing with red here, we're doing another horizontal move, which is 0. Trying to kind of position ourselves for the alignment over there in the environment defined by the pentagon and 1 notch. Now, with the blue, I'm going to move down, making another 7 here. This brings us to 80. And this allows the red to make another alignment or synergy, if you'd like. So there's 8 from the move. Let's put it here. This is 85. But then we have a bonus. So it's 777, which is 21 in addition. So 21, this brings us to 106. Okay. Now, let's see what else we can do with the blue. So we're going to try to kind of operate the businesses that are in a higher margin environments where there's more money. So operating that business, as you can see, moving down from 3-notch pentagon, we're going to make 9. So that brings us to 89. Now, with the red, I'm going to move laterally to kind of enter this space where I'm going to be making a little bit more money. So now I'm bringing back the blue, and I'm making 8 here. So this brings us to 97. Chasing down with the red, moving down. This is going to make us, or the red, 9. So the budget goes to 115. Now, blue, you can either, for example, look at the triangle, 3-notch triangle over there. You could take out the red from there because you're positioned right above it. But then, if you look at 2-notch pentagon, the red would take you out, and the pieces here are actually more valuable because there's more money. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to kind of get out of the way from the red, making a lateral move. So that's 0. Let's say the red starts going down. That makes the team red another 8. So that's 123. What I'm going to do now with the blue, I'm going to do another lateral move to kind of position myself above the red. And let's say the red is trying to capitalize on the alignment that was at the corner in a 1-notch pentagon environment. So it's a lateral move, it's 0. As you can imagine, the next move could go back and basically you create that alignment once again. Now with the blue, since there's not much you can do, we're just moving down, we're taking this red piece out, and we're making, since it's a straight downward move, just plain operation, business operation, we're going to be making 8. This 8 brings us to 105. Okay. Now, as I mentioned with the red, I'm going to make an alignment here in the corner, the bottom. So from the action itself, I'm not making anything because it's a lateral move. But because it's an alignment, now I'm making 7 plus 7 plus 7. That's the bonus, right? The sum of the positions of each piece in that alignment. So I'm making 21. So 121 plus 21, that's 144. Okay, now what I can do with the blue, I can move upwards. If you look at the environment right in the center, 2-notch square, I'm going to make a vertical, like an upward move, which signifies innovation, but a much more complicated type of, or complex or difficult type of innovation where you're not necessarily changing the product at all. It's still a square, but you're changing the environment to make your product more valuable, whether it's through legislation or you lobbied the politicians to come up with the law that will overnight kind of increase the perceived value of the product and therefore the margins. So because these innovations are a little bit more difficult to execute and accomplish, you actually, when you move upward, you have to pay, and you pay the amount associated with the originating cell, which was still in the same environment. So it's a -5, right? You have to pay a 5, but then you make the bonus for the alignment. So it's -5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 8. So in the end, you get 5 plus 8, so it's 13. So that brings the fund 105 plus 13, it's 118. Okay. Red is about to move now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to also run away a little bit, move down from those pieces in the center of the board. So I'm simply opening this alignment again and making a simple downward move, which is operating the business, and basically I'm making 7. This is 144 plus 7, it's 151. Now, with the blue, I'm going to go in environment, that's 2 notches pentagon, and I'm moving down. This is going to make me a 8. So this is going to bring my fonts to 126. So now with the red, I could move that piece in a corner up and make an alignment, but I know that the immediate move for the blue will be probably to take out my business because I'm going to be right underneath. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to make the alignment but bring all the pieces one cell lower. So I'm moving this in the center and I am making a 7. This brings me to 158. Okay. Now, the blue has to move. So what I'm going to do to still benefit, I can exit business with the blue piece that's in a one-notch pentagon. And when I exit from the bottom row, I'm collecting basically an additional amount of money that's equal with the number indicated by that environment. So in this case, it's 7. So I'm exiting and I am making 7 here, which is 126 plus 7. That's 133. Okay, so now red, as you can see in this, we're the same corner environment. We're moving down, and basically we're going to create another alignment. So there's 7 from the move, and then 7 plus 7 plus 7 as bonuses. So we have 28 that adds to 158. So that's 186. Okay, so now we got the blue. I'm going to try to bring it down to prevent this alignment from generating more money. So just simple move downward. This is 8, so it's 141. Okay. With the red, let's say I'm going to try to kind of protect that particular piece that's right under the blue. Moving it down, and I'm making a 7. So this brings us to 193. Now, with the blue, I'm going to try to block the move back up for the red. So moving down, that makes us 7. So that brings us to 148. Okay. Now red, let's say we just kind of try to bring everything down, hoping that the blue might not take us out. We moved the one in the middle, and we're going to make a 7. So this brings us to 200, our cash in bank, if you'd like. Now the blue actually will take us out, so just moves down, takes this piece out, the red, and we're making 7, and this brings the funds for blue at 155. Okay, so we have a red here. Red moves down again, and this is just a simple move, 207. Now the blue has to, as you can see, the gap is quite significant. So the game could now red is in control. It could end the game pretty shortly, and the blue has to make the most possible money. There's no immediate opportunity to create an alignment, so I'm going to start exiting with the ones from the environments where there's more money. So the one in the corner, one-notch pentagon, in that environment, I'm going to exit from the bottom row with the piece, and that's going to give the blue a 7, which brings the funds to 162. Same thing red is going to do, exits from that same environment with one of the pieces, and that gives red a 7, which brings the fonts to 214. Now we have the blue in the square one-notch environment at the bottom. We'll exit with that one. Since it's bottom row, blue will collect 4. So this brings the fonts to 166. Red will exit from the bottom row and we'll get a 7. So that brings red team's budget to 221. And now you could basically, with the blue, you can continue to kind of move down, because if you choose to exit from any other cell not on the bottom row, you will pay a penalty. It's like lost opportunities. So you will pay a 9 for every exit. So you're somehow at the mercy of the red team. So let's assume that now the red team will decide to basically try to stop the game, since it has quite a bit of an advantage in terms of money. So we have first, I think, blue. It was blue's team's move. So let's say I'm bringing this one down, making a 5. This brings the fonts to 171. But now red just simply doesn't want to waste any more time. So even though it will pay these penalties, it will still basically be ahead of the blue team. So let's say I'm in the environment defined by a triangle and 3 notches, right? We exit from there. This is a -9 for the red team, which brings down the score to 212. Blue continues to move in the environment with 5, so it's right in the middle over there. So this brings to the fonts to 176. Red again takes out the piece in a one-notch triangle environment, and this is another -9, which brings the fonts to 203. And blue moves down in the center and makes another 5. This brings the score to 181. And finally, we have the red, who's supposed to make the last move right now. If the red decides to end the game and exit, I mean, of course, you could continue to move down, but it's pointless at this point in time. So red exits, and this gives it or requires a payment of 9, which brings the score to 194. So end of game. As you can see, one of the team was the red CEO was able to take the team through its entire life cycle, from launching the products to operating them, to creating synergies, to extract that additional value, and then of course kind of closing down, or an orderly closing down, if you'd like, where trying to capitalize on all the opportunities that were offered. The winner in this case, it's red. It doesn't happen always that way. Sometimes one CEO ends the game, but the other one has the more money. In this case, as you can see, it's the red team has 194 million versus the blue team who has 181. I hope you enjoyed this game. We're going to play more sessions. I'm going to try different scenarios, different illustrations, different visuals. But this is in a nutshell how the game is being played. Thank you, and I hope I'm going to see you soon. Thanks.